I saw it advertised in the local paper, and it was from anyone 60 years and over. I've lived in the area for 70 years, so I thought I've probably got an interesting story in that regard. My wife died 4 years ago of breast cancer, so I've been involved with volunteering with Eastern Palliative Care and helping with migrant driving. So I thought, here's something else I can probably help in the local community. And my wife used to be a crossing ladies for the Nunawading Council, so been involved in the area for quite a while. Mainly for the fact that I've been in the area. I grew up in Blackburn. I went to Blackburn Primary School. I went to Box Hill Tech. I served my apprenticeship at Turner Manufacturing, which was just over the road. I worked for them as a sales rep later on, and have been involved in the local community with quite a few things, church and other activities, and now with the volunteering. I felt, well, they've probably got things that people would be interested in. It was interesting. I sort of looked at it and thought, now what could I talk about? And talked to a few people and said, I'm going to talk about the olden days of in the 50s. And the number of people that came up and said, I've got this, or I've got that, or something else. And it was surprising. As you saw the table I had too much stuff. But it was interesting, all the different things. You suddenly pull out a book, and I pulled out a book of cartoons, of Wegg's cartoons from the 50s. And thought, oh yeah, I remember those, the cartoons of some of the politicians. I had a book of the 56 Olympic Games, but I also had slide rules and things like that people these days probably wouldn't have even known what they were.
And you found that triggered a lot of conversation?
A lot of the older people, yes, they sort of found it fascinating. I was thinking we probably would have got a lot more younger ones through and wouldn't have seen some of the things. But if I do something at a school, well, I'll tailor it to what the schools, because, you sort of think back to your school days, and you had a little school bag so big, and you see the kids today with a backpack on, and they've got books and laptops and everything else, and there's a lot that has changed. I found it fascinating for the fact that people were interested in what I was doing, but then they'd start to relate their story, and I was getting a lot out of some of those other stories. Particularly the lady that had come out from Hungary, and we were talking about the foods and what sort of food that she was used to and where did she manage to get food that she was used to. And she found it very, very hard when she first arrived. And when I was working at Turner's, we had a tool room of 75 people, and a lot of them were the refugees after the war. And we had some fascinating stories of some of those. I remember one German guy I worked with, he was telling us about how his pilot from his Messerschmitt said, if you can get into the plane, I'll fly you over to Syria so you don't get captured. And you think, wow, these people have got some interesting stories. It gave me a chance to go back and remember some of the things. I spoke to a few people that had grown up in the area, knew the area, and I went to one particular guy who used to work at Cotty's down in Blackburn, and we started reminiscing about what was this and where was this and what was that, what shops were where. And it was just fascinating because I'd remember things that he wouldn't, and he'd remember things that I wouldn't remember, and it just brought back so many great memories.